Joining me now from Washington, Camilo Montoya-Galvez and Leslie Sanchez. Camilo is a CBSNews.com politics reporter, and Leslie, of course, is a CBS News contributor and a Republican strategist. So, Camilo, I want to begin with you. What more did we learn from this report?
Right, Irina. So this is just another scathing rebuke of the Trump administration's widely condemned practice of separating children from their parents at the U.S. Mexico border, which they were forced to rescind. So based on documents the congressional panel obtained from both the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Health and Human Services, the 32-page report sheds new light into the scope of this policy and its repercussions, which many families are still dealing with. Some of the most compelling revelations are that some children who were separated in the spring of 2018 are still in U.S. custody as we speak. Additionally, the report details instances in which infants as young as 4 months old were held for the government for nearly 5 months. In one instance, Rina, a 8-month-old baby from Honduras was held in detention for half of his life without his parents.
Half of his life. It's just incredible to hear you say that. You know, and we've been reporting too, Camilo, that, you know, these raids are expected to take place across the country starting on Sunday. Do you have a sense of, you know, we know the president actually addressed this earlier today. Let me play you that soundbite first.
They came in illegally. They have to go out. We have millions of people standing online waiting to become citizens of this country. They've taken tests. They've studied. They've learned English. They've done so much. They've been waiting 7, 8, 9 years. We have some waiting 10 years to come in. It's not fair that somebody walks across the line and now they've become citizens of the United States.
Camilo, do we have a sense of who might be targeted in these raids and what the local communities are doing to prepare for this?
Yeah, Irina. So ICE has signaled that approximately 2,000 families the agency is focused on finding and apprehending are part of this expedited docket in the immigration court system. They were ordered deported by a judge for failing to appear in court. Administration officials, including the top USCIS director, have said that these families have had due process to defend these raids, but this claim is disputed by attorneys and advocates who point to bureaucratic errors that led many families to miss their court dates and that led them to be ordered deported by a judge. In terms of how advocacy groups and attorneys are preparing immigrant communities for these operations, they're trying to strike a balancing act of sorts, right? They want to inform immigrants of their rights. One of them is that you do not have to open your doors to ICE agents unless they have a warrant signed by a judge. But they're also trying to ensure that they're not fueling any more panic in these communities.
Leslie, I want to talk to you about the politics of all of this. Is this something that folks in the Republican Party, the president's base, really want conducted? What do we know about what other Republicans, fellow Republicans, are saying?
Sure. Irina, I don't think that's the optics that any candidate or any politician wants to see, is that you have ICE raids and people basically pulling moms and dads and sisters and siblings apart in a very dramatic way. The question becomes, where is the right role for ICE? Where is the right role for the president in this? If you look at the fact that there are 10 million plus undocumented individuals here, and that there are some criminal illegal aliens that do need to be removed, and that you have an issue where a judge has ordered that these individuals be deported, reasonable people will agree that there's a fair process that took place, that these can be executed. But the question, Rena, is really where are politicians and Republicans particularly going to fall? It's going to be a very tough weekend. The president's going to try to sell that this message of fairness, where there's people in line that are doing it the right way. And he's trying to get a hold of what is really going to be what I call that detonation issue of 2020. Immigration. The president has to show politically that he's made strides in both securing the border and doing something about the undocumented population this year for Republicans to feel that he's executed on his political promises. That's why this is going to be a really difficult weekend, regardless of where you stand on either side of the aisle.
Leslie, you know, last night CBS News political correspondent Ed O'Keefe spoke with Senator Elizabeth Warren and asked her about her immigration plan. I want a play bite for you from his interview.
The best way we can deal with immigration is we can put more resources into our foreign aid, particularly in Central America.
Leslie, I want to ask you about that. You know, this is something that lawmakers on both sides said they would be open to. We're hearing more and more of this about investing in South America, but wouldn't that be at odds with the president's America First agenda?
It could possibly be, but there's a precedence for that. You certainly saw it under the Bush administration. There were binational conversations, particularly with Mexico, trying to bolster efforts to create and sustain a middle class by allowing these, in some cases, changing governments to have opportunities for economic development, to have opportunities for trade that proved to be very positive. When you grow the middle class or allow people an opportunity to grow in their own country, many of them will stay. But the United States has always been kind of this avenue or this floodgate for individuals from the Western Hemisphere to move through, and we've needed the labor. They've never been able to agree, Republicans and Democrats, on the right way to do this. And again, it's going to be pointing fingers and a lot of politics. So while there's merit on that, and I think Republicans will come around, you're going to see a lot of very sharp elbows when it comes to trying to get something like that done.
Leslie Sanchez and Camilo Montoya-Galvez, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Rena.